Hello, people. It's Brand Thornton again, and I got my special friend here, Matt Wandersea, and we are making we're shifting gears here. And we're going to talk about the petition for redress of grievances that's gone to the governor in the state of Utah. Yeah, Matt, you want to hold that up again, right there? Yeah, so the people can see. I'm going to kind of zoom in on it real quick here. So if you'll just hold it up there. And, you know, I don't expect you to read it all right now, but we're going to do that for you more or less. We're going to read some parts out of it. But here's a copy of it there. Okay, Matt. That's good. And Matt, kind of, what's your understanding of the history of that petition? What can you tell us?
Well, it looks like in the Utah State Constitution and the Constitution for the United States of America is bound by law to fund the unorganized militia.
Absolutely. That's pretty amazing stuff, isn't it? So, in your opinion, would you say that we've been neglected?
I'd say so.
Here's another question. If the governor signs this and the state of Utah starts to fund the unorganized militia, what do you think that'll do for recruiting and volunteers?
Well, so far all we got is the ones that are just out there risking everything, and they're just doing everything for the cause of liberty. Now, if we start paying people,
yeah,
then they might want to get up off their butts.
Well, right now, everybody's, you know, paying for everything out of their own pockets. I mean, all the gas, it costs money to travel back and forth to these different constitutional hotspots and pay for it out of our own pocket. I mean, you know, I know everybody up there that was at the refuge, most part they went broke, you know. So if we can get the Utah State to fund us, I think that'll be great for recruitment and volunteers. Now, exactly what the limits on funding is, I don't know. But I would say at the very least, you know, our firearms, our tactical gear, our clothing, you know, if we have to mobilize, gas, things like that, radios, pay for.
I mean, we are going to have to unite if we want our future generations to have a free country.
Yeah.
And not live under a tyranny.
Would you say that's a key part right there, what you're holding in your hand, if we can get the governor to sign that?
I'd say so.
Yeah, it'll give us some really strong unification for us to rely upon, and I think it'll help us. In fact, I'm sure it'll help us with the sheriffs. You know, we can get on board with them and have an alliance and communication with the sheriffs. What do you think the sheriffs would appreciate that?
I think that we the people will appreciate the sheriffs, and the sheriffs will appreciate we the people, and
we can have each other's six, or cover each other, protect each other. Because right now in the state of Utah, we've got a little over 30 sheriffs. I forget exactly what it is. They're outnumbered. They're outgunned, everything. And, you know, they're between a rock and a hard spot because they want to live up to their oath, but at the same time, they don't want to go out there and just get massacred, which could easily happen if the federal government decided to come down on them completely, you know, with a big iron fist. Mm-hmm. So they need protection. They need somebody to have their back.
Yes, and we need somebody to have our back. And this is what it's coming down to. America's going to have to unite on this one if we don't want to live under a tyranny.
So, you know, by doing this video and getting it before the people of the state of Utah, do you think that'll help? Just by doing this video and getting it before the state of the people of the state of Utah, get this thing going, getting it shared, get this information out there, you know, of that petition. Because the state of Utah has got a fantastic constitution. There's nothing like it in all the different constitutions that I have seen. So I would say, okay, I'm going to jump in with you there, man. I'm going to move this over a little bit, and I'll sit next to you. And we'll actually take, oops. I almost expanded your face to the point that it would have
Oh,
looked,
that wouldn't be good.
it would have looked strange. So anyhow, I'm going to start to read some parts from this. I hope I'm in the picture. I think I am. I don't want to get. I like you, Matt, but I don't like you that much. You know? So anyhow, petition for the redress of grievances to and in support of the Honorable Utah Governor Gary Herbert. And I need my reading glasses. I'll be right back. Second here.
Petition for the redress of grievances to and in support of the Honorable Utah Governor Gary Herbert.
And, you know, we're going to go down. We're just going to hit some of the high points real quick. You know, you go to line 25. Utah legislature is to provide by law. Okay, Utah State Constitution, Article 15, Section 2. The legislation shall provide by law for the organization, equipment, and discipline of the militia, which shall conform as nearly practical as to the regulations for the government and armies of the United States. Well, that's, you know, back when the Constitution of the United States was written, they were to provide for the militias also. And it was to be as close to the federal government, the armies of the federal government of the United States. And back then, you know, what they had mostly sidearms back in, say, you know, late 1700s, early 1800s. They had primarily sidearms, and when this was adopted in the middle 1800s, yeah, that was it, sidearms. So now, if you look, if we go strictly by that, the Utah State Militia is going to have a whole lot more than some sidearms. Okay, they'll be able to match any enemy if we go strictly by that. Okay, moving right along. Line 30. In response to a clear and present danger, we the people of Utah State formed a more perfect and secured union of counties of sovereign people. You know, I love that word sovereign. Mm-hmm. You know, anymore, if you go listen to Mark Potok and his organization, the Southern Poverty Law Center, it's a dirty word. But what's the opposite of a sovereign? What's the opposite of a sovereign?
Slave.
A slave. Okay? So what is it? Slave is a good word? But sovereign's a bad word? Come on, you know? So anyhow, each endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, whereas our free, independent, sovereign Utah State, one of 50, forming a more perfect union of 50 states, free, independent, and sovereign states, entered the union under the Equal Footings Clause, forming a central government called the United States of America with only 18 delegated powers and spending privileges as itemized under Article and Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. Do the people out there, you think they realize that the Constitution only provides for the spending of 18 very specific and itemized privileges? That's it. You know, there's nothing else in there about buying refuges or whatever. You know, it's not in there. It's not in those spending privileges. Moving right along. And I want to say something about this petition. There are a lot of people involved in putting this together, probably something like a couple of dozen people. This is not frivolous. Okay, some of the best minds that you can imagine were involved in this. And it's a real deal. And this is how you take your country back. This is how you do it. Okay? You take it back one state at a time, starting with Utah, building up the militia, empowering it, empowering the sheriffs, okay, and dismantling all those illegal organizations that have no mandate. This is how you do it. This is why it's so important that everybody pay attention to this and share this, okay? I'll jump down. The Utah Constitution article, this is on line 55, Article 4, Section 10. And this is the oath of office. This is for all the state legislatures. This is for the governor. All officers made elective or appointed by this Constitution by laws made in pursuance thereof, before entering upon the duties of their respective offices, shall take and subscribe the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution for the United States and the Constitution of this state, and I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity. There's no wiggle room there. I mean, it's fair. I mean, when you solemnly swear, aren't you solemnly swearing to God? That's the way I look at it. I mean, you know, and if nothing else, you're swearing to the people. And when you swear, when you take an oath of office, that's your word. And your word is your bond.
Sacred honor. It's
your sacred honor. And if your word's no good, you're no good. I'll come right out and say that. You know, all these people that take this oath and then break it, their word is no good. You know, they have no credibility. Moving right along. We're going to go to the Constitution of the United States, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 16. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, and imposts, to provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia. Wow. Now that's
a good one.
That's really, really powerful there.
We the people need a nice little armored vehicle that says "We the people" on the side of it. 10th Amendment.
Well, we got to match the firepower, for the most part, of our enemy, or anybody that will come down upon us. Okay, both domestic and foreign. You got to match that firepower. You know, we're not out here to get blown away. We got a job to do. So, going to line 80. We recognize your recent righteous action to take back control of Utah state lands from the federal government, returning them to the stewardship of the free, independent, and sovereign Utah state. Your actions with regards to the imminency, constitutionally pure and lawful actions is admirable and carries with it our fullest and most fervent support. Therefore, we the people, comprising constitutionalists, members of the freedom movement, patriots, Tea Party leaders, and members of the constitutional unorganized American Militia Freedom Forces, pursuant to 10 United States Code 311 and Amendment 2, the Second Amendment, seek to be fully active participants in this historic endeavor, contributing our vast array of skill sets and organizations, and are at the disposal of the governor. Provide for the call to assemble, and we will answer the call forthwith. Okay? Going to jump down here to line 100. This is great. This is in Utah Constitution, and this is not the only one. This is repeated several times.
Can I read this one?
Yeah, that's right there, Article 20, Section 1.
All lands of the state that have been or may hereafter be granted to the state by Congress are declared to be public lands of the state and shall be held in trust for the people to be disposed of as may be provided by law.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting. With how many, I know I've looked at a half a dozen state constitutions, and I know ADL also has. What is this? I forget. Anyhow, NLA, National Liberty Alliance.
Oh yeah.
They've looked at every one, and they said there's nothing like the state of Utah Constitution. It's really amazing. But the fact of the matter is, this was adopted. Okay, when they came in, you know, on equal footing, and they became a state, this was adopted by the United States government. Okay, now think about it. This is very clear evidence of what even what the U.S. Constitution means. Because they wouldn't have adopted this, they wouldn't have accepted it as a state constitution if it was sideways in some manner from the United States Constitution. They just wouldn't have done it. Okay, moving right along. We the people, Utah State, and this is line 105, we the people of Utah State are deeply troubled and extremely concerned subsequent to a myriad of recent and not immediately recent flagrant violations of the U.S. constitutional laws by the three branches of the U.S. government, pursuant to Amendments 9 and 10, the supreme laws of the land. These flagrant violations of the supreme law of the land, having directly violated with extreme prejudice against Utah State and the supreme laws of the land, have and are committing unmitigated capital felony treason under Title 18, United States Code 2381, in violation of Amendments 9 and 10 and the Constitution for Utah State, and direct and sometimes violent attacks against the people of Utah, perpetrated by the BLM and other U.S. government agencies operating without constitutional authority. Wow. It should be specifically noted that both constitutions guarantee life, liberty, and property in pursuit of happiness, and the same being under clear and present danger. Yes, we the people of the state of Utah recognize that we are under clear and present danger. We the people of Utah, and to the rule and protections of our state and federal laws, do hereby present this petition for the redress of grievances as our direct, unalienable right pursuant to the last 10 words in the First Amendment in support of the Honorable and Noble Governor Gary Herbert, as well as to the members of the State Assembly. And I'm going to jump down here. I'm going to pass Marbury versus Madison, and I'm going to go all the way to the bottom about line 150. And it starts off, whereas Utah Constitution, Article 12, Section 16 states, no corporation or association shall bring any armed person or bodies of men into the state for the preservation of peace or the suppression of domestic trouble without authority. Line 155, it is our firm belief and conviction that Article 12, Section 16, quoted above, is the very definition of the criminal works of the U.S. government agencies within our state, now attacking the people and Constitution of Utah. Furthermore, we find that these several U.S. government agencies and agents are working in concert and conspiring for a common goal. We find that the Utah Constitution is a reasonable facsimile of the Constitution for the United States of America, which is now under full attack by said conspiracy against the supreme law of the land. We the people do not seek personal enrichment or advantage over our fellow Americans or any ethnicity, color, or creed, as we specifically hold these truths to be self-evident. And I'm going to read down through them, there's some actually good stuff there. That all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, depriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That's us. Okay? They get their powers from us. Under an Article 4, Section 4. Republican form of government as guaranteed to the free, independent, and sovereign Utah state, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable, okay, than to right themselves by abolishing, or in this case restoring, the forms to which they are accustomed pursuant to the 9th and 10th Amendments. So, you know, they become insufferable. We've suffered enough. You understand? You get that out there, people? It says, while they are sufferable. I put to you, they have become insufferable, and it's time for a change. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations by the BLM and an array of other U.S. government bureaucracies pursuing invariably the same objective evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty. It is their duty to throw off such Title 18 United States Code 2381, treason against the laws and people of Utah, and to provide new guards for their future security and for the security of the constitutional laws of Utah State, and most especially secure the Constitution for the United States of America, which is the supreme law of the land. Anything you'd like to add to that so far?
I think it covers it pretty well.
Yeah, it does. It's very well. We'll move right along. You want to read 190, Understanding of Ranchers and Miners?
Understanding that ranchers and miners enjoy preemptive rights to the benefit of all people to produce food, minerals, and other natural resources, and to manage our water through developing water sources.
It behooves us as the people, by duty, all Americans between the ages of 17 and 45 pursuant to 10 United States Code 311. Unorganized militia to protect our ranchers and miners, and I will even go in there and throw in and say our sheriffs. Okay? As well as all the people of Utah from unlawful acts by all enemies, elected and non-elected, and their hired, constitutionally contemptuous henchmen and agent enemies of our supreme laws of the land, where we ask, are the BLM listed under the 18 limited congressional powers?
Where?
Where? You won't find it, guaranteed. It's not there. The intentional destruction of life, liberty, and property by numerous nefarious U.S. agencies operating under color of law is unacceptable and will no longer be tolerated by we, the people of Utah State. In conclusion, we, the people, in support of the Honorable Governor Gary Herbert and our federal and state constitutions especially, but not limited to our amendments 9 and 10, the supreme laws of the land, seek recognition as constitutional unorganized militia pursuant to the rule of the constitutional laws which we ordain and establish as necessary to the free, independent, and sovereign Utah State, only subject and limited to the very few and agreed upon limits specifically enumerated and properly ratified under Article and Section 10 of the Constitution of the United States as a recognized, unorganized constitutional militia. We seek the funding required by both constitutions, first and foremost from Utah State, and secondly, the U.S. Constitution respectively. Now, I would stop right there. People, you know, we got protests going all over the place, and I'm glad, because we keep this out in front of the people by doing the protest.
Yes.
You know, what they did.
Bringing awareness.
Yeah, and what happened up the refuge with Lavoie and his murder, and the theft has taken place across the West by the BLM. Protests are great, okay? But it's not the end all of all. We got to have something way more than that. Folks, this is the answer. We'll take the state of Utah, take it back, take all our lands back, and then...
Yeah, we're going to have to unite on this one. We're going to have to fund the militia. People, farmers, we're going to find out who the land belonged to before the federal government stole it. And then we're going to just continue on, and we're going to restore the entire republic. So, are you going to be on the side of the republic, or are you going to be on some other side?
Exactly. And the people in the state of Utah, you can share this video. I'd like to see it go viral, okay? Because you got some committed people in the state of Utah, believe me. I know a bunch of them. Very committed to the rule of law. Willing to do whatever it takes to retake our freedoms. See? So what we need is we need the people to share this video, make it go viral, call your representatives. Because I'm going to tell you what, this is before the state legislature. They have this right now. This is before the governor. He actually has this right now. It's going to be presented to him again in the very near future. Your Supreme Court has this. Your Attorney General has this. All your sheriffs have this. Okay? This thing's got some traction. We actually got some really good feedback from the state senator. So this thing's got some traction. So come on, people. Let's get on board. Let's make this go viral. Let's get our freedoms back. You know? Let's don't be couch potatoes. Let's exercise some faith. Let's exercise our vocal muscles. And personally, I just like to take everybody to task that is not. They're just waiting for this big train coming down the tracks to hit us head on, and we can stop it. We can stop it right now. And I'm gonna stop right there. And you got anything else you'd like to say at this time, Matthew?
Operation Win the West.
Operation Win the West. I think this is the way we're going to. This is the way we're going to do it. One state at a time. We get the state of Utah, Arizona, Idaho will fall right in place, guaranteed. Once you get those 3 states, here comes the rest of the West. All it takes is to get one state on board, fully constitutional. That's all it takes. So come on, people. Thank you so much. This is Brandon Matthew signing out, and we will be seeing you hopefully later.